I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Record.
All right. Well, it's finally summer. Anime is going strong for about a good month and a half. We're deep into the season.
And it's hot.
And it's hot. You know what I mean? It's real hot.
95 plus.
Girls are starting to wear less and less clothes, and that's not a bad thing.
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
Nasty ass mind out of here.
It's not a bad thing.
But
But
when they melt, and they're just like on the side of the road, just
right,
walking around.
just flopping. You know what I mean? Not just like Catholic nuns.
Oh, dear God. Anyway, welcome to Geek No Bullshit, episode number 7.
This is XX Howling XX.
This is Cobalt.
This is Anakin.
And this is Geek No Bullshit. Okay, look, I'm not even gonna hold you. There's a bunch of news going on in anime right now, and there's a lot of stuff going on. We got a lot of different animes doing great things, and today I sit on the verge of disappointment. And I'm gonna talk about it because I love it. And I'm loving it because I want to talk about it. Look, like normally we do news and then we run down the animes of the week, but I just can't. I need to focus.
This is going to be a very frustrating episode for 2 of the party members involved here.
And I gotta tell you, Megalobox, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Dude, I've never been so dissatisfied with a fight scene in my life. And see, the thing about this show is that it had such promise. You know, it had the animation style of Cowboy Bebop. It had that really cool, gritty aesthetic to it that looked amazing. And then you premise it off with, you know, that starting of the boxing tournament, the underdog, you know, reminding me of Hajime no Ippo. But then you deliver me fight scenes like this. Anakin, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil this for you.
Spoiling.
This episode 9, starts off...
No. That's where it starts.
That's what I'm saying.
No. What you just said. Okay. Before he goes on to it, let me explain something. Megalo, what you're doing currently is shit you normally pull in episode 4, 5, even 6, where we still got another half a season to go and you can fix your shit. But we're on episode 9. We're on episode 9. That means we have 10, 11, 12. And then we're done with the current season.
Right.
So at this point, you feel like it's okay to pull this shit right where you are. It fucked up because this is episode 9. There's only 3 episodes for them to fix this shit.
Well, do we know that this is a 12?
We know that it's a 12 season run for this season.
Okay.
But I know it's confirmed for another.
Okay.
Because I know it's going to be coming out next season. But again, we got 3 episodes to fix this shit.
Right.
But back to what you were saying. But that's where it started for me.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil this for you. Start off the very beginning of the episode. We start off in the middle of round 2 of his fight. The middle of round 2, Anakin.
Of his fight with Shirato?
Yeah.
The AI gear user, him, yes. Start off in the middle of round 2. The face you are making right now just perfectly describes how I feel. They don't see the start. We don't get a countdown. We don't get a 3, 2, 1, ding, ding, motherfucker, let's go. We don't get anything. It just is in the middle of round 2, and he's already got, like, Joe has already got the shit kicked out of him. He already looks beaten and bruised up.
And I'm gonna stop you again. This is where I take another issue with the way the show went in direction. Okay, you built this whole show off of us feeling for Joe. And, you know, feel for Joe as a character. You developed him. He was well developed. And I give you credit for it. He was completely well developed. He wasn't an underwhelming character in any points of the show. He was amazing. He was amazing, charismatic, everything.
And see, that's the thing. The characters in this show are still really good. Joe is still a good character. Like, his team, good characters. The villains, the rivals, they're all pretty well-written characters. Like, even Shirato, who is an annoying character.
A piece of shit. Go ahead and just say it.
He's a piece of shit.
The fucking piece of shit.
He is garbage, but he is still a good character.
You can't throw a right hook without an AI, you bitch.
Yeah, pansy ass bitch. Yeah, no. But, like, they're still good characters. They're still well-written characters. The story structure is still good, and I love the concept, but it's just like, whenever you have a series that is based as a tournament show, as a tournament-style boxing anime, and then you have the weakest fight scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Oh no, but we're still where I was at.
Oh, with the round 2.
No, we're still at round 2. Give me a sec.
Oh yeah, no.
Before we move forward. Now, because you built Joe up the way you built Joe up, you have made Joe not just an anime person. He's not just an anime figure or face. I look at Joe like a friend that I tune in to make sure what happens to my friend every week. Now my friend gets beat up. You don't think I want to know how he got beat up? You don't think I'm gonna ask those type of questions as a friend? You think I'm just gonna drop in halfway through and just be like, oh, my friend's beat up, but I'm gonna watch the rest of the fight and not care about how he got beat up? You don't think we care about that type of stuff? I'm telling you, we're anime fans. We care. We go to cons in the summer when it's hot, dressed in full Naruto uniform. You don't think we gonna care if Joe is beat up or not?
Wait.
Akatsuki, sorry. My bad, I couldn't think of the name because I was in mid-rant, but you knew.
I knew what you were saying, but you don't like Naruto.
I don't not like it. But the thing is, I respect us as anime fans, and I respect us enough to know that every detail of what happened to a character that we care about. We hate when characters get killed off screen. It's the #1 complaint that we have. You gonna let my character get beat up off screen and not tell me none of it? And you think that was just gonna fly under the radar because you look cool? No.
It was really frustrating. And cool, you don't.
Like no. Joe's beat up at the beginning of the round. Not kind of beat up, where he's like, okay, it looks like he's visibly took some damage, but they're going back and forth in the hits. No, Joe was fucked up. One eye closed, bruised up, and boxing with minimal or no pulse left. Mm-hmm. Joe was beat up.
Okay. And here's where we get into the one of the other frustrations that I've had about this show. These fight scenes, they don't get me hyped up. They don't really get me jiving and amped. Like, think of some of the best fight scenes you've ever seen.
Nah, but we were talking about this earlier. Okay, so one of the fight scenes we compared it to earlier was Midoriya from Deku. Deku doing the 1 million smash. Now put your bar your number part aside, because I already know. Well,
they already gave us some explanation after that episode, so I was okay with that.
All right.
Power scaling, though.
So put that aside for a second.
They answered the next episode. They gave me something. They gave me one line. I said, okay, if that's the way you want to play with one line, I will accept it, and let's move on. All right. So,
but the hype with that punch, period. The way they built that punch up, the explosion of the universes, and the same screen as All for One. You see him finally stepping into his own. He balls, clench his fist. It feels satisfying when you see the punch hit. It feels satisfying.
Not one punch in Megalo has made me feel that way.
And you're a show about punching.
It's a show about boxing. I felt that every time I watched a fight in Hajime no Ippo. I was like, yes, let's go. And like every time Epo would land one, I was like, yeah. Like you get hyped. With this one, it's just pop, 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 pop. And some people may argue, well, Cobalt, the realism behind this is a lot. It's more realistic. That's how boxing goes. I don't give a damn.
This is my anime.
This is an anime about people that are fighting.
Over-exaggerate.
This is an anime about people that are fighting using additional robot arms. We are past the point of realism. This doesn't matter anymore.
And go ahead. That's the point.
It could be real in the future, just saying.
You get what I'm saying?
But
though.
the point
I get
is,
what you're saying.
even Real Steel, where this is kind of where this is kind of based off of having these mechanical arms and punch with, even Real Steel had over the top punches.
Real Steel has some dope ass fight scenes. You see Hugh Jackman jump at the side of the screen. I'm like, oh man.
So I think I said this really early on when Megalo came out. I said I felt like the fight scenes were too slow. Most great fight scenes are very fast-paced. Maybe not the whole fight is fast-paced, but the animation to show that it's a more forceful punch than it actually is. Is a faster animation than everything else.
Or even like some slow-mo, you get the nice build-up, you see that hook coming into the left, you see the face reaction, and then it just goes wham! You can see the
right, and then all of a sudden it shoots through.
The follow-through. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
So you with us?
Yeah,
You with
no,
us?
I had this complaint way early on.
Yes, and we and
I'm sure it's somewhere in one of our episodes. I guarantee.
no, I promise you, it's there.
It is. And
You're
now,
not wrong. You made that claim.
And then, to add insult to injury, so Joe's getting the shit kicked out of him the entire fight, right?
All fight.
By AI-enhanced gear, okay? Mind you. He gets one clean... Oh, you're stopping me.
Yes, I am. Right there.
Okay.
Another thing that pissed me off. The reason you drop us in the middle of the fight. You drop us in the middle of the fight. Now, before this fight, what were we told? That the reason that Shirato does not want to fight Joe is because Joe don't have a gear. And the AI can't read Joe's movements because he doesn't have a gear.
But that got fixed in between episodes.
How the fuck do you fix that between episodes and then not explain it to anybody?
Yeah, we got that all. That all.
So did you study Joe? Did you study it? Did you put him did you go into your little computer lab and put all that shit together? Do you not think that's something we wanted to see? Do you not think that's something we wanted to know? Or is Joe just losing just because you want fucking Joe to lose?
See, and they might as well.
I'm out of my seat, son.
They might as well have just not even told us that he had a weakness. Because at this point it was like, he has he has a weakness. That means we have a chance. And then it's like, oh wait, never mind.
No, you don't. He can program the weakness the fuck out. Which they could have stated in the last episode or showed any time before then. But they didn't. They said the only reason he didn't want to fight Joe, and Joe in particular, is because he didn't use a gear. So that means the whole episode before this was useless too. Where he puts out because if he could beat Joe so easily, why not just beat him then? Why not just beat him then if you already had it programmed to where you can program Joe out to where he can get beat up?
Is the fight still going on?
No, it's over.
Oh, it's over?
Yeah,
It's over.
Wow.
Finished at the end of the episode, and Joe takes him out with one punch.
Probably to the face.
One punch!
Now, Grant, Howling did
One
make...
uppercut!
Now, granted, Howling did have a real good point. One of the things that he said was that Shirato is a pretty boy. Shirato ain't a real boxer.
He's not.
He's
He's
a
not.
real-
an engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not. He's an engineer.
Now, he's a buff as hell engineer, but well, then again. Yeah, don't you look at me like that. Don't you look at me like that.
Engineer.
Don't you look at me like that. Anyway, he's a pretty boy. He's
You'd rather him look at you like a piece of candy?
Shut up, Anakin.
Yes! So, folks,
Creating sexual
Cobalt
tension.
told me that my randomness makes him say "Shut up, Anakin" pretty much every episode, and that clicked with me coming up here today to where we were going to record. So now every episode, my goal is to get him to say "Shut up, Anakin" every episode.
Is this gonna turn into like a meme?
Yes.
Are we gonna have like?
This will be our first meme.
Like if we ever get big, like we'll have buttons that say "Shut up, Anakin" on them that we can sell.
Yes. For my randomness.
Yo.
Perfect.
But no.
But and granted, he takes him out with one punch. But my thing was, it's just like this is such a weak build-up. These for a show based on fighting, you're not very good at the fighting part.
And my beef ain't with the fighting. My beef is the way the story is told. We want to care. They want us to care about Joe. Mm-hmm. We care about Joe.
Yeah, certainly.
We all care about Joe because Joe represents us at some point in our lives,
right,
where someone told us that we weren't good enough to be or do something.
Right.
No matter what it was something we weren't good enough to do, and we had to prove ourselves good enough to do it. And this resonates with people that play video games, with people that tells them that you can't make money or are living off of playing video games anymore.
Or people that tell you that the character that you play isn't good enough and you need to pick up a secondary because Little Mac is a low tier character.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not bitter at all.
Bitter as fuck, son. But the way the story is told is built around that. And because it's built around that, it makes me think that we would care about everything, period, that affects Joe.
Right. And
but the way it's written
would have been something we cared
But the
about.
way it's written is like it's more important to get to Megalomania, sorry. It's more important to get to Megalomania than it is to tell the story cohesively through beats and triumphs.
Right. And see,
you know what they could have done? I mean, saying that there's 3 episodes left, they could have made this fight into a 2-episode fight and made getting into or starting the Megalomania boxing matches next season.
that's
correct.
what I wish they would have done. And see, that's another thing. There are only 4 people in the tournament. There's only 4 people in Megalo. There are 4.
Uh-huh.
If this is a single elimination bracket, that is just 3 matches. If it is a single elimination bracket, it is 3 matches. If it's round robin or double elimination, it'll take considerably longer. But most of these styles are single elimination brackets.
Oh yeah, I don't expect it to be anything.
And
other
so
than that.
I don't understand why we would have any expectation for anything less. And I was talking to one of my other friends about this, and we were talking about this. What is Joe gonna do once he gets into Megalonia? This guy that he just fought is a little punk.
Yeah.
All the others are actual boxers.
Yes, exactly, and they have better gear than he does. Well, maybe not the first 2, but Yuri certainly does. Yuri has the best gear out there, and he's
Correct.
the best boxer out there. How the hell are you going to beat him without gear? What are you going to even do at this point? Like, are they just going to give him Are they going to give him gear? Are we going to?
And that's the crazy part about this. Okay, so even if they give him gear, right? Mm-hmm. That means that takes if they don't develop it, then we're gonna be pissed about that.
Well,
so he's gonna just walk into a ring with gear, and we're not gonna know how he got it.
Well,
would that not piss you off?
No, it would definitely piss me off. But one thing that I did hear about that was actually a really cool idea was what if they were able to turn his bike into gear? I thought that would be a cool idea.
Yeah, but then we're stepping into...
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but
we're stepping into territory that's outside of boxing at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're fucking magical.
See,
we got a magical motorbike now.
We're
Transformers.
No, they just took it apart, made it into gear. I mean,
we're Transformers. We're Transformers.
They made the wheels.
And he's gonna talk to Joe during the whole thing. He's coming from the left, Joe. He's coming from the left.
It's like that new movie Upgrade. It's coming out. You have full control. Okay, thank you.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was weird.
No. I'm not gonna do that to a bike.
Honestly, though,
it's his bike. It's his mode of transportation.
That was just something.
God damn.
We need to see him get gear because he knows how to use gear. He needs gear at this point. The power.
I don't think. What's the little boy? Sacho?
I don't remember his name.
Sacho? Is that the little boy with the hat? Is that ringside with him?
Yeah, that might be his name. I can't remember.
He knows how to write and program gear. He's proven it.
Right.
But the whole thing is, this is his point. Like this, the point of it is, as a show that we want, like, I finally understand how my mom felt when I was younger. One day I came in and broke something. I broke a vase or some shit like that. And my mama just sat back in a chair and did this. Put her arms to the ground, sagged her head down, and said, "Alex, I just really wanted you to be good. You have all the potential to be good. Why aren't you good?" And I never understood that as a kid. I was like, "Well, fuck, what the fuck you mean? I just wanted to break a vase." Fuck you mean? I'm good. I'm a good kid. But then I thought about it, and this show made me hang my arms down, and I started shaking my head.
Megalo, I wanted you to be good.
I wanted you to be good. Why aren't you good? Like, you have everything. You have exposure, money. You have time. We will give you the time you need as fans. If you need time to go and animate it and get it right, we as fans will wait.
Bomb ass animation studio.
You have everything to be good. Why aren't you good?
And see, that's the thing. They've proven.
Why are there so many holes in your story?
They've proven that they can do action sequences well. Like, honestly, the training that he does with Nambu is better than the fight scenes. And then, like, not to mention, we saw. You remember whenever he drove his bike?
Yes.
Whenever he. Two things. Whenever he drove his bike through the building, and it was like slow motion as he was coming through.
Yeah.
This is what I want to see. That, or whenever he drove his bike all the way up to the very front of Megalo and was like, "This ain't over yet." That kind of thing. Why can we not have that kind of fire and passion and ferocity? Ferocity? Fury? Ferocity.
Yeah, ferocity is a word.
Yeah.
That's a word.
That's a word, I think.
If it's not, we'll make it a word now.
Yeah, throw it out there as a word.
But if you can't have that in your fight scenes, like, damn, what?
Okay.
What are we watching for?
It's not even about that. They had it in a fight scene. They had it. That's the part that got me crazy. They had it. Right after he drove the bike through the window, he fought the dude and delivered the first big punch of the show.
And that
one was epic. I felt it.
That got me hyped. And Nambu was like, he's gonna go for this, and Joe's like, okay, dodges.
Bam! And you felt that. You felt that. Where the fuck is it?
I don't know.
Did you rush? Did they stop paying you money?
I don't know.
What's going on?
He's not gonna get gear though.
How?
Oh my god. This negative motherfucker over here.
How can he not? He needs it at this point. How are you gonna beat?
Okay.
He's struggling.
Let me tell you.
Bruh,
Let me
he
tell you the
struggled
whole
against
theory.
Yuri with gear.
Exactly. He struggled against an engineer, not a boxer, with probably second best gear, right? And he struggled hard.
Okay, wait.
Struggled hard.
Okay,
He had to put his arms down.
I understand.
And trick the AI to
He's had
deal
trouble
with
with
it.
every fight without gear.
Come on now.
Okay. Even with Yuri, he fought Yuri. He still stood up after Yuri beat the crap out of him. Okay?
Okay.
Whoever the chick is, who is the owner of Yuri, says Yuri must win. Okay?
Right.
She and her brother, Shirato, both developed gear.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So he wanted to get a Megalo to prove that his gear is better.
Right.
She wants to win to prove that his Yuri's gear is better.
Right.
What happens when Joe wins with no gear and no gear is better than... Or, having no gear is better than having gear. Because Joe then proves it. He decimates the whole point of Yuri.
I can understand.
He's facing a large establishment.
I can understand your perspective from that. I really can. But whenever you have an entire show that is based off of Megalo. That's like saying.
It's making you think.
That no. He's mad, and I'm mad too. That is like.
That's not a bad face. That's not a bad face. It's like.
No, I'm inquisitive.
I'm
inquisitive.
That's like this.
But go ahead.
That's like throwing Hugh Jackman in the ring in real steel to fight against that big ass black robot and having him win. It's like, oh, well, there's no point in this anymore. That's not the precedent you set up at the beginning of the show. The precedent you set up is that, oh, people enjoy Megalonia. Let's fight in Megalonia. That's the precedent you set up at the beginning of the show. The precedent was never about, let's dismantle Megalonia by proving that you don't need gear to win. That was never the precedent. And whenever every single piece of promotional artwork for this show had Joe wearing gear at the beginning of it, and then that gear busted within the first, 3-4 episodes?
Within his first fight of trying to get into Megalo.
Right, my point. So?
Okay.
I'm just saying foreshadow.
So here's what my thought process is.
I would.
And I'm gonna take a
also,
bit from
you
both
even
of
said you need to be a certain type of person to even be able to box.
Right, I get that. But my point being, I would be greatly dissatisfied if Joe... Yeah, I honestly wish that whenever he stole that gear, that it would have worked and it wouldn't have just broken on him.
I would be perfectly accepted with that, but with the way that it slowly rolled out this way, I think that could be a possible storyline that they choose.
I hope it's not.
And even if it's one they choose, here's why I say that's very unlikely. Here's why. Because again, the girl, the lady, wouldn't let it happen.
Let me ask you.
The lady wouldn't let it happen. And here's why I would say that. Because her whole purpose is to prove that her gear is the best. And Megalonia is supposed to be the precedent or the height.
Are you saying
of
she's
that
going to
proof.
give Joe gear?
She either going to give Joe gear and tell him he must use this for Megalonia, or B, kick him out of Megalonia when it's time for him to fight Yuri. Because again, the whole point is Yuri can't
She
lose
needs public opinion
in
though.
that gear.
She can't kick him out.
Personally, here's what I am kind of getting the vibe from and am hopeful for.
Give me someone who would give him gear.
Sachio.
So I guess if he made it on the side.
Right, exactly. At this point, Joe has entered into Megalonia. So, what I would like to see happen is Joe be training one day, and we've seen Sachio doing stuff in the background. Like it's never been working with gear and stuff, but he worked with tech. And what I'm hoping is
We know he worked with tech.
Exactly. And so at some point, I hope Sachio's just like, "Hey Joe, me and the other little kids got something to show you." He goes over, and they're like, "We stole gear and reprogrammed it. And this is some good quality gear that we stole. Now it's yours." That I would be very okay with that happening. I would be very okay with that happening.
So where's all the backstory? Okay, you stole gear. How'd you steal the gear? How'd you reprogram it? Give me more backstory. This goes back to the same thing that Alex is saying. You did all this crap that you could have actually put animation into and given us more backstory.
Correct. So
you failed again.
So
I would
I'ma
be
give
more
you an
happy
alternate.
if the chick just gave him gear, said,
No.
hey.
Here's where I'll be happy.
Oh, man.
What's his name? He just fought him.
Sachio. Shirito.
Shirito.
Gives him the AI gear?
Shirito gives him his AI gear and have him versus Yuri with his gear versus his sister gear.
That's a good plot.
To see who's better.
That's a good plot.
I can do that. I can live with that.
That's a good plot. Because you still have the whole family feud. You reincorporate the family feud
Correct.
back into the story.
Okay, wait.
And then you still have the feud between...
Secondary question. What if Sachio stole the AI gear? That would be priceless.
Okay, that works too.
Either of those. As long as the gear is,
Because, I mean, really, the owner developed Yuri's gear. And then if Shirito developed Joe's gear, and then you still have that, and then you still have the person versus person type rivalry, and then gear versus gear rivalry going on at
Correct.
the same time.
And it's a layered rivalry, and that's what we wanted to see, because that way it cancels out all of the backstory. Now we know why each side is rooting for each side.
Yeah.
That leaves it to be Joe versus Yuri, which is what we want.
And see,
and it makes their gear less a concern. So if they fight now, if Gearless Joe versus Yuri fight now, our concern is that Yuri will be too overpowered and it'll end up the same way or worse than the first time them two fought.
Probably won't end up worse because we know that Joe's improved.
Yes, but not...
Joe's not going to go down in the first 10 seconds.
Probably. But if he had the gear, it would even them out. Right. Because he's already proven. Because Shirato. I gotta remember this motherfucker.
Honestly,
name.
I don't...
Because him and Yuri had a rivalry. And the only reason him and Yuri had a rivalry, it wasn't really between him and Yuri.
It was between him and his sister.
Exactly. And Yuri was just a...
Proxy
for his sister because he used the gear that she provided. Mm-hmm. So him using Joe as a proxy makes the most sense.
No, and I agree with that. And see, at the end of the fight,
because he's not a genuine article. He's not built for that. But Joe is.
Joe is a genuine article.
He's knocked Joe out, and Joe stood back up.
Okay, no. So I kind of had this issue before, and I didn't really state it like way long time ago. In all these fights, so we have mechanical enhancements, and like the gear goes all the way up to their fists.
Right.
Okay. Why the fuck has no one overpowered a punch to just break a guy's forearm mid-fight? Be like, oh, well, now your guard's down. Oh, I'm just going to break your other arm. Oh, both your guards down. I'm going to win.
Well, the argument could be made there that the gear is protecting their forearms.
Joe doesn't have any.
I know Joe doesn't have any, but he's not he's not blocking with his forearms.
They don't have to aim for what he's blocking with. Just aim for his arms. Damage the arms. Well, I mean, literally, just break a bone. Like, what I'm getting at is they can overcharge a punch, break a bone on Joe, and Joe's done.
Well,
he did break his... Somebody did that, and they broke his gear.
Right, they broke the gear.
Yeah.
By overcharging it. Now, two things there. One, whenever Joe is moving, whenever you're boxing...
Uh-huh.
I mean, of course, Joe's going to take some punches and stuff. So, yeah, that's a good... Although, the same question could be made about why two people fighting with gear, why they don't get ribs broken more regularly.
That's true.
So,
I mean, there's...
Now, there's got to be two things. I mean, I know you're the analytics person. You're the analytical person here.
Very.
But the mechanical person.
Very.
But, But there has to be.
Our bows are weaker than steel.
There have to be limitations to, I guess, what the gear can actually perform in terms of force output. Because even in the first fight, you see him like bleeding from the mouth and stuff, and like coughing up blood.
They have to be regulated in some type of way.
Certainly in some way.
So it'll be like a car. You can't have a car that can go 1,000,000 miles an hour. Because then the police wouldn't be able to catch your ass.
Some kind of governor to make sure that you're some kind of governor to make sure that you're not killing people. And then the other thing is I know Joe's taking hits, but whenever you see him boxing like that, usually you deflect punches with your fists. Like whenever you have your gloves up in front of your face, the purpose of them is so they have recoil, so that it can take the initial impact of that punch and then it fades away.
So yeah. But more importantly about the aesthetics, let's get back to the show in general.
I still love the storyline. It's got such promise. It's just a classic underdog boxing story with some mechanics jumped in.
I can't agree with you.
How so?
I can't agree with you. At this point in the story, we're on episode 9.
Right. But the story and the premise of that story has still stayed the same.
The story, the premise is good. It's a premise. But the way a story is told evolves the story. You can have a relatable character, but if the relatable character is told through a shit way of storytelling, then the character becomes shit. The plot becomes shit. it doesn't hold up if you continue the story. So if I tell you a synopsis of a show and the synopsis makes sense and it's beautiful, but when you tell me, okay, so cool, what happens next? And I start telling you the actual story, and there's pieces that don't make sense, there's shit that's left out.
Right, but
it starts to ruin
no,
the synopsis for the viewer.
My point being, this is still just a problem with the writing, not with the story. The story is still the same. So let's say that. Okay, so you got this episode. Let's take the first 5 minutes of this episode where we see Joe starting off in round 2. Okay, you see Joe starting off in round 2. Round 1 happened, but we just didn't see it, right? Level with me here. Just humor me for a second.
Calm down, Hallie. Calm down.
Humor me for a second.
Yeah, boy.
Humor me for a second. So you round 1 happened. We just didn't see it, right? We can agree on that. Then you got round 2, and we see half of round 2. Now those rounds.
Do we know it's half or a whole or?
No, we've seen half.
It starts in the middle of round 2, so we see some of round 2.
Okay.
Now, either way, those rounds happened. Those rounds happened regardless. That story is still there.
Yeah, but if you were to tell the story in its chronological order, then that means you would have to skip round 1. So then you would never even get to the part. You would go, okay, so Joe is standing in the after crashing through the Megalonia
and gets
stadium and gets in this whole tiffy with the lady running Megalomania. She tears up the ticket triumphantly and hands one to Joe and one to Sachito and says,
Shirato.
Look,
You just gave the little kid.
I know.
Beat
that shit out of that kid.
Anyway,
Fuck you, Shirato. Sachio, you're in.
Yeah. So shot and tears up and give one to Sachio and one to Joe and look.
He do it on purpose.
It's in my head.
Continue.
All right, gives it to both and said that this must be settled in the ring.
Right.
Flash to 2 days later, they're in the middle of a boxing match. Joe is already beat up, and the fight is starting. And then you start telling the story from there. But wait, how did they get there? Did somebody go back to the lab?
No.
Did they get a chance to go change? Or did they fight just right then?
Right.
It brings up too many questions.
No, I understand. I understand that.
No, but it's a hole.
Hey,
it's a hole. It's a hole.
Come here.
You don't ignore a hole. It's right there.
Howling.
You don't drive and ignore holes in the middle of the street. You go around them, or you fill them bitches
Howling.
up. But you go ignore
Howling.
them. Oh, I just hit a pothole.
Howling.
I'm okay.
Howling.
You never hit a pothole and just kept on going. I do it all the time.
Howling. Okay. So, let's say you're driving out there on the road. Let's say there's no potholes. Okay. The road is the story. Okay. Listen to me here.
He's so upset, folks. He's all slouched in his chair. He looks like a sad little kid.
I want you to hear me out. The road is the story. Okay. The road is the story.
Okay.
You drive 200 feet.
Okay.
You remember those 200 feet.
Okay.
So you space out for about 500 yards.
All right.
Then you jump back into it 500 yards later, and then you're good. That story continues. Regardless of whether or not you saw those 500 yards that you zoned out for, they still happened. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
And I'm not saying the story...
And my question... And before you continue... You said the story was the road, correct?
Correct. And
all right, go ahead and continue.
Okay, the story's the road. That road is still there. That story is still there. I'm not saying that the story is being told well.
Correct.
I'm saying that the story is good.
The story is supposed to be good.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, is that the story is good.
The story...
And it's being told poorly
through
the writing. That's what I'm saying. So we're on the same page.
But if the road is the story...
Right. This is the most complex damn
and there's a big ass hole in the middle of your story.
Right, but there's not a big
ass
hole.
How the fuck can you keep driving?
There's not a big ass hole in the middle of the story.
There is a big ass hole in the middle of the story because we don't see it. We don't see it.
This is not a big enough
We
haul.
don't see it.
This is not a big enough haul.
How is it not? There's so much missing from
For
the
you saying
story.
a car to fully stop, this is not a big enough hole in the story.
This is a big enough hole in the story to stop it.
Are you referring to Shirato instantly developing the AI, or are you referring to the round
I'm
one?
talking about all of it. Instantly developing the AI when you completely told us that it's already a weakness and not explaining how that weakness got fixed. Not only that, not showing how they got there. Not showing if they had a minute to train. Did they go change? Is this directly after the Megalobox? There's so many questions in between the middle of it. How can you even drive? You can fit your car in the middle of the hole that's in the story right now.
No.
Yes, you can.
It's not.
Yes, you can.
It's not.
Yes, you can.
It's not.
Yes, you fucking can. It's like,
Down in his chair.
like, yes, you can. It's like
He's 6, folks. He's 6.
yo, it's like 30 minutes. It's like a whole episode is missing. That's what it felt like when I watched this show.
Right.
The way it started, I felt like I missed the whole 30 minutes.
No, I agree.
So you can't drive for 30 minutes with your eyes closed and expect for it to be okay.
You can't
You're
with the
going to
Tesla
hit
car.
some shit.
You can't with a Tesla car.
I'm just saying, you're going to hit some shit if you drive for 30 minutes with your eyes closed. And we just drove for 30 minutes with our eyes closed, ended up in Megalobox at the fight just fine, and stuff happened.
You want to know what
and
I
we don't know what it is.
Yo, chill. I'm not arguing that point.
I'm
if you
emotional.
if you drive 30 minutes with your eyes closed, you're gonna hit some shit. But my point being,
Elon Musk and the Tesla.
I am gonna punch you in the fucking face.
And it's gonna be better than Megalobox. God damn it.
The last thing I want to say,
Holy shit.
you drive for 30 minutes, you're gonna hit some shit.
You're gonna hit some shit.
But
I want to know the shit I hit. What if I hit a kid? What if I hit a dog? What if what if I'm running from the FBI and they're outside of the Megalobox arena and I gotta walk outside and I get arrested and then I go to jail. And if I go to jail, then I gotta give up pork because that's what you do when you're black and you go to jail. You give up pork. That's what you do. And you come out being a Muslim because you gotta go find God.
oh my god, chill. Oh my god. All I'm saying is that even if you hit some shit, the road is still there. That road is still there. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That is the only point that I was trying to make is that the road is there.
Yes, the road is there.
The story is there. It's being told poorly. And
The road is definitely...
and they're not.
And then all that I'm saying is that's not a big enough.
If you say a damn Tesla car one more time.
No, I was just
Say a
saying.
Tesla car.
Do you see what you've done to us?
I'm just saying that's
Megalobox?
not a big enough
Do you
pothole.
see what you have done? We are friends, and we are
Okay,
arguing
no. A
this.
big enough pothole would be Joe showing up to the fight, and then he's got a prosthetic arm.
Bruh.
Be like,
Bruh.
where did the arm come from? How
Bruh,
did he lose his arm?
this
What
is
the hell?
worse. This is worse than that.
No.
Yes,
Joe
it
losing
is.
his arm?
Yes, it is. Because at least then they would be sticking to the theme, and he would have some kind of she would have some kind of gear on him. God damn it.
Kinda.
Shit.
No.
But here's the thing. Here's how it's worse. It's development that we don't get to see.
Right.
He went in the lab. This didn't take a day. He didn't have an hour. We don't know how long this was.
Okay, so what's worse? This or Concaro Connect? Right now.
Fuck you. You. Any time he can push that fucking agenda, he's trying to push it. He's like, oh, you disappointed?
They explain everything. They explain everything. There ain't no plot holes. It may piss you off the whole time, but ain't no plot holes.
All right. I think our 40-minute Megalobox episode 9 rant can come to an end. Because
No. It can't. It can't come to an end without this next piece.
Say what you gotta say, but we're
Bruh,
out of time.
Bruh, Megalobox, we love you.
We really do.
We only talk shit about you because we love you. We want to see you do better. You have a great story, whole plot, whole shop street type thing going on. And where Tesla cars can be driven on you and people can close their eyes for 30 minutes. Okay.
You have beautiful animation. The reminiscence of Cowboy Bebop at its finest. Although I will disagree with you, I think the opening is not that good. But we can talk about that at a later date.
Oh, bruh.
But and then also, I really do love at the end credits, whenever that black screen goes and it says "not dead yet."
Yeah.
That's absolutely one of the coolest, most style things I've seen. So.
But we love you.
What
man.
if they're foreshadowing Joe's death?
Not dead yet. It very well could be. This could be a Spike Spiegel moment.
What if they're foreshadowing it? Eventually.
Very well could be.
That wherever they end, Joe will die, and that'll be the last episode.
This could
Whatever season that ends up.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Well,
You heard it here on episode 7.
you heard me. We predicted. Look, predicting.
Well,
But look, I just don't want to end up. We're not talking negatively about the show because we hated it from the beginning and we wished it to fail.
no, I believe in a couple episodes ago we said this was our highlight for the season and the one that we were most anticipating.
It is, and I just really wanted to. I didn't want to end this episode without saying this because I know some fans are going to listen to this and go, "Well, you guys are just haters. You just hate." Like it wasn't that big of a deal. To us, it was because we're not just fans. We're investors. We care. We invest our time. We invest our, I don't know about you, but I got kids. I invest a lot just to make sure I watch and stay current. So for you to treat us like we don't need to know every bit of information, or for your animation to be piss poor in places, or for your fights to be underwhelming, it hurts. And I just don't want to see you go down in quality because you have so much good going for you. And we just want to see you bring it out. We want to see Joe be the best. We don't want Joe to be an average Joe.
We want him to be gearless, Joe.
Exactly.
You don't want him to have gear in Megalomania.
And a kid.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
You gave me an opening. You gave me an opening in the boxing match, and I took it. Oh, it in there. You let your guard down just a little bit, and I got in there.
One of these days.
One little jab. One little jab. One little jab.
One of these days.
One little jab.
One of these days.
God damn
when you're
it.
sitting at your cubicle, I'm gonna come over there and punch you in the head. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Because that was a perfect ending. You just fucked up.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
That ended up.
Soiled it. Soiled it.
God damn it.
Soiled it. Okay.
It was time. Well, that's it. We're signing out. This is XX Howling signing out.
This is Cobalt signing off.
This is Anakill with Tesla cars signing up.
Beep. Fucking beep. Fucking beep.
Not dead yet.
God damn it. Hey, this is XX Howling XX, and I want to talk a little bit about what's playing in the background. This is BB Cross Tag or Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. Shout out to Team Spooky. Please go over and support their channel. You see their icon there in all of the footage that we show. They had a tournament for Blaze Blue Cross Tag, and I just wanted to highlight some of the best rounds that I've seen. This is a really fun game to get into, especially if you're new to fighting games. There's not a lot of complicated combos. There's not a complicated sequences. Plus, it's really, really fun. Again, give it a shot if you're not into fighting games. This is XX Howling XX signing out.